we saw very quickly that the whip of the Senate was removed and replaced. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and that happened really quickly. And the reason that was given was because he seemed to not be in the party, as it were, anymore. Is that the case?
He's in the party, but his allegiance had since moved, and for some time, because he seemed to have changed his allegiance and alignment. And you see, political parties, the currency in political parties is loyalty. Loyalty, support, believe in the ideology of the party. Of course, anchored in our very laws that you can only belong to one political party at any one given time.
Yeah.
And that was a law that was put in place so that, first of all, you can check issues of, you remember the party hopping business that was there before?
Yeah.
I think it was intended to tame that party hopping and people failing to take full responsibility of their political decisions. Because once you take a political decision, it should ride with responsibility. Those are obligations undertaken in the party, because the party also goes out of its way to support a candidate, give the ticket that then helps the candidate to buoy to victory or to buoy to failure. It does either way. Your choice of political party determines, in many, many areas, can determine whether you're going to win or you're going to lose. So once the party puts its resources out to the use of a candidate, you're using the symbol, you're using the popularity, and if you're in a stronghold of a party, what happens is that 40% of the campaign is done by the party, just by having the right ticket. And that's why we tell even women, when you're in a certain stronghold, look out for the ticket that will buoy you to victory, so it makes your work easier. So having then expended resources on a candidate or on a person, the party does expect to a very great extent loyalty. So when that test fails, the currency wins off. It wins off. I think it was long waiting to happen.
So it was not. It was
but
not
then
an
now
issue of
the
this
by-election, because of the heat of the by-election, there was much more speeches, much more very frontal attacks to one another as the candidates were competing. So I think it brought out the fact that it's like keeping the stubborn, disobedient son in the house. There are days even the mother will say, do you know something? There's no dinner tonight for you. You be out. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Senator, I will still ask on the same now. So here's the fact that if you look at constitution and how it's been, party constitutions and how it's been put in place, there is internal disciplinary mechanisms that would take place ordinarily.
Yes.
And with that, then do we expect that the party would further take further measures against these candidates, these individuals? And would these also include sanctions within the party, other than just in the Senate?
I would say that the party does have a code of conduct, and it has structures and organs within the constitution. And yes, the party can take a disciplinary action against a candidate or a member of parliament, but there is a process that has to be followed. First, there has to be a complaint. Someone has to go and complain that this member has gone way off the code of conduct, they have breached it, and these are the rules they have breached, and we have evidence. So they will table that before the organ, the disciplinary committee, and then the disciplinary committee will give a notice to the person who is accused, and then the person will be given a right to respond to the allegations before them. But somebody must go in, complain, they have to do a letter or do a petition, and then they have to, once that complaint is filed, it goes through the normal motions, and the disciplinary organ takes over and now makes a determination after having had both parties.
But then one would ask the question, if the member already has been stripped of the positions, we've seen all the changes in the Senate, is based off a complaint. Someone is expressing displeasure by how they acted. Then what are we waiting for if already we're taking action? Dr.
You see, when you're given a position by the party, it's, for instance, in Parliament now, it's the members of that party, like the Kenya Kwanza now, or the UDA. Let's say the UDA, actually, because it was within the UDA. They were holding that position. It's the members in Parliament who have affirmed that leadership of that person and who you vote in, communicate to the Speaker. And it's the same members who can remove that communication or change that communication or make changes based on how they feel they'll be more effective in Parliament. Because you can imagine if somebody holds a top position and doesn't agree with the philosophy of the party, you don't know whether maybe tomorrow, if they're given an assignment by the party, whether they're able to dispense it. So it's going to hamper maybe the effectiveness of how the parliamentary group is in pushing the agenda for the party. So it's a natural progression of the rules. It's a natural progression of how things worked, because these are issues that are based on relationships. How are you relating with the party? How are you relating with the leadership? How are you relating with the people? Are the members comfortable to be represented by you in view of the positions you hold? So I don't think there is any love lost when somebody has already walked ahead. Like they have moved on. So the party needs to move on.
Okay. Dr. Lekaka, when we look at this from a broad stroke, politics to an extent is really about perception. And that what you hear somebody saying could then fuel what you think they will do in the future. Is it just an errant individual in a party that has been removed, or is there a broader picture being painted here across Kenya's politics?
Thank you so much. I think this is not new, and it was expected. Why? Because the ruling coalition saw it coming from the failed, what I can call that the nomination was not very good, for example, in Malaba. And there was this bone of contention there that Khalwale had actually expressed. And therefore it was expected that indeed, if Khalwale will go against the party, then the best thing is that actually remove him from that position. But the big picture is that the ruling coalition has to move quickly to kind of punish the dissenting voices, to consolidate power, or to show that indeed that is required of them, so that they can actually whip everybody else in terms of retaining power. The big picture, again, in this perspective, is that looking at the ruling coalition and the wind that is actually blowing around the nomination and how the by-election actually took place, there are several concerns that don't bring out the ruling coalition in good light. And the much that the coalition can actually do is actually to whip the legs of Khalwale. Khalwale has read the signs on the ground. And God forbid, he is going for the governor seat in Kakamega. If he has read the signs well, then he is likely to capture that seat, not necessarily under UDA. And the big picture again is that how do you justify, for example, the challenges that the candidates, opposition candidates have actually faced in Malaba because of the government? There are many issues around how the government conducted itself in this by-election. And therefore, this is what is actually going to affect even all the other seats. And we've seen it across board. I'm seeing a scenario where you are actually got with the enemy, and therefore you must run quickly to consolidate your house. You must show power, because if you don't show power, the next thing is everybody else will actually be running away from the coalition. Because this is a scenario where if you don't rein in on this member and the match they have actually done, and maybe others are going also to be removed from different positions because they want to consolidate power to prepare themselves. And that will send a strong signal to who would be interested in dropping the interest in the party.
We often know that parties are vehicles through